You know, one of the cool things, some advice for sellers would be, let's talk about how the property looks whenever we go to list the property and put it on the market. You know, selling land is a lot like selling a house. If I pull up to a house and shingles are falling off the roof and the gutters are hanging off and the windows are broke, what's the buyer gonna automatically do? They're gonna be like, well, I gotta fix the roof, I gotta do this, so I'm gonna have to spend money right off the bat. So I'm gonna have to lower my offer because I've got to compensate for those expenses I've got to do. So what you really want to do is make sure that if you've got a bunch of trash and nasty stuff on the farm, get rid of it. If you've got places for food plots, try to make sure those plots are planted, if at all possible, not just bare dirt. We want a finished property, a turnkey property that people are going to be interested in. That always helps bring more dollars to the table. If you've got a good deer history, save your pictures. Let's show people what we've taken off the property over the years. I would also advise that you use that deer history, take those weights, those jaw bones, those ages. So we've got a compilation of that stuff. Man, that brings value to the table with a buyer. So turnkey properties demand more money because the buyer knows what they're getting versus just taking a chance on a piece of property they know nothing about. When it comes to buying property, some of the things that you need to consider when you're looking at a farm is, one, especially if you're buying a hunting property, you know, I want to know what kind of bedding I've got. I want to know where those bedding areas are. I also want to know about access. It's good if you've got two roads that touch the property, for example, just for access points. Is there a good trail system through the property? Those are all things that we have to consider, because if they don't have it, we're going to have to implement them to make it a high quality hunting property. You know, so just remember that there's value in developing your property. You know, you can turn right around and you can implement those things and build those things on your, like trail systems, food plots, blinds, feeders in states that allow them, and those types of things that will add value to your property long term, especially having a great deer history.